sports fans, welcome to this week's edition of Red Ray's Welding and Machining. As you can tell from that opening scene, got to put a head gasket on old gal. Pulled her in here to change out my ditch box switch right there, and check out oil leak. Got to looking, found out I had a head gasket seeping on it. So, well, let's see what all we're gonna get into trying to get that thing changed out and see if we can get her back going again. All right, we're gonna get her tore down. First thing to do, go ahead and get you something that's an old mud board that I had one time. I just bought a creeper and flipped that over. But anyway, I got it set up there for my little tube in. Go ahead and get most of what you need, plus a box to put your parts in, and have it sitting right there by you. Something I learned a long time ago back when I was a mechanic in for a living. That's the way these hoods are held on. This little clip goes in there behind that, and when you tighten that up, it holds it up on there. That makes that a little easier. I think I'm gonna have to get a new lens or something, covers, because that's not doing y'all real good there. Now a lot of y'all gonna say, oh, I don't like them old spring clamps, you just worth throwing away, they ain't worth a flip. One thing about these, as that rubber shrinks and everything moves, those still keep it tight. A screw worm clamp won't. They are good and clean. Good and gray. That's what we're looking for. Alright, while the compressor was running, I went on and unhooked my oil filter bracket from the head, and just for a little safety tip, I went on and took the my hot wire cable off the starter there so wouldn't nothing touch it, and taped it up. Ain't much to it. We got to go get a different socket. All right, I went and got a deep well and went on and took those off right there. So we're gonna go ahead and pull all our bolts. Alrighty, and that's it. we'll get our first look at her. First time I've ever seen down in her. So you see she's been leaking right there. I know she's leaking right in there because that's where I saw it bubbling. But we've definitely had a leak right there, so we're gonna get her cleaned up and see what we gotta do. We're gonna check that head and see how flat it is. Well, all right there, sports fan. I checked level flatness on my head. I checked it. I had right at about 8 thousandths gap right here in the middle. So as you can see, I'm already taking these ends down some. I started taking the planer, and I may still do it, but I just wanted to see if this would work. This is a piece of granite that thing's used to measure check stuff from one end to the other. This thing is accurate to within like a 1/2 thousandths of flatness. So I got some sticky back tape, sandpaper. That's 275 grit, and put on there. We're gonna wet it down, make a few more swipes with it, and see how she comes out. I know it's gonna take a while, but hey, I just want to see if I can do it. You can see how much that's changed. I don't know if that light will make any difference or not. You can see it right in there where it's done changed at. You can see them edges down there starting to clean up a little bit. Looks like a little spot right in there starting to hit some. So we don't have a whole lot more to do. I say that it's not a whole lot more to take off, but it's gonna take a lot of elbow grease. So we'll look at it when I think I got it close enough. I've got it below 4 thousandths warpage now. I hope I got that angled about right, where you're looking straight down that thing. But you can see, you can just barely see light under that. Get away from that hole there. Barely see a little light right in there. Take our there is that's 4 thousandths feeler gauge. Putting her dead in the middle right there. And rolling it till it's flat. I can just get the tip of it under there. So, and it won't go all the way through. So we've got less than 4 thousandths bow in this thing now. Well, all right, that's what we end up with right now. I'm less than 2 thousandths below this line, and I'm less than 3 thousandths above that line. So that there's probably 1.5 thousandths all the way down there. I can't get a 1.5 feeler gauge in, 1.5 thousandths. So, but I can. The 2 won't hit and won't go through up to this line. Then the 3 won't go through on any of the rest of it, but a 2 will. So that's how close we are on it. I got to looking, that was 180 grit. 180 grit paper. All right, like I said, we got this thing pretty well planed down. You can see it had a little discoloration on it. So there we are. Where's our now? That's the 2,000. Hold on. All right, there is our. Try to get where you can see it. That thing, the fan blowing it and everything. 00515, so that's 1.5 thousandths. We got it on this is a granite surface stone within 1/4 thousandth. Up and down it. You see with it just sitting down there on that thing. All right, there's a spot right there it'll go through after you get it kind of down in there. From there to there. All right, see that? All right, I'm gonna take this piece of shaft right here and I'm gonna set it right there on that. It'll only go from there to there. And that's all that's on it is that weight right there that you see. So when that thing bolted down, well, I tell you what, let me push down on it. All right, I push down on it. And now it's from there to there. It won't go past that. That's just with me standing there pushing on it. So that bolt gonna pull that down and pull that out because it happens to be a row of bolts right here in that spot. So I'm not worried about that. That's a flat head. It's got enough flex in it that's going, what little bit we off right there is gonna pull out. I'm not gonna bore you with doing all 15 of these, but on these head bolts, always, it don't matter what you rebuilding, go ahead and run you a tap through there, because when you torque it back, you don't want to have to be torquing all that dirt and grime and stuff in there. So just take your little tap and run through there and kind of clean it out some. I shoot a little 40 in there just to lubricate it. We're not cutting threads, we're just cleaning them. That's a little old 1/4 inch air ratchet right there, so I know I'm not gonna put any pressure on there, recut something or mess something else up. And when I get through with these, I'll take a blowgun that I got here that I've got a piece of pipe on. I'll stick them down in there and blow them all out and clean them out good. Then I'll oil them bolts before I put them back in, because like I said, we want to torque the bolts, not the dirt. Just a quick question. How many of y'all know what that is? Or what it's for? Huh? Yep, but I used it. If you know, then you know. Well, about like normal, I always kind of get ahead of myself, but anyway, I got my head back on there. I got a Fel-Pro gasket. I got that from Stumps. I mean, them's good a gaskets you can get. I got them lined up. I'm gonna take my bolts. I got new bolts because them old bolts is in there and everything, and you don't know how much they've been stretched. All right, these bolts torque to 70 foot-pounds. I'm gonna start out at 30. I always start in the middle and go out. Now we're gonna run it up to 50. All right, I don't know if you noticed, I could tell on there on that time lapse what I did, but I hit each one of them. I torqued them at 30, 50, and then 70. And then I went back around because an extension will add or take away some torque because you're expending torque in that. That's why I use that short one to start with. But just wanting to make sure, and I always double, after I get them all the way down, I torque them one more time to make sure that everything's settled, that the gasket is compressed, and everything's sitting like she needs to be. So I'm probably gonna sit here a few more minutes and click them one more time. I don't really think it's necessary, but I'm going to, just cause here lately don't seem like things have been working out like I remember they used to back when I used to do this every day. All right, I just dropped the distributor in. While I had the head off, I pulled number 1 up, make sure both intakes are closed. You're on your compression stroke. You look down here in this hole. There it is. All right, there's your timing mark you see in there on your flywheel. Okay, we got her on the timing mark down there. We know we're right here. We got it dropped in. This shaft on this thing sits in the oil pump. So you're either on or 180 degrees off. So 1 is just to that side of your clip. So there's number 1. So we pretty well on it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down. When you got your mag, it comes off from down there. It's rotating one way. When you come up here, it runs off of the oil pump shaft. It's going the other way. 1 and 4 are on the same cycle, but they are 180 degrees apart. This one's firing and this one's exhausting. There's your difference. So when you flip to this, you wire it up, you just start calling this number 1, because they're gonna be the same then on with this distributor coming in from this way. I hope I explained that correctly. I probably didn't, because I'm not real good at explaining, but that's the way that works. That's why number 4 become number 1, because you're 180 out on this, and they're on the same stroke, but that one is they're 180 degrees apart there. So when you change it back around, then all of a sudden this comes to making this number 1, and there you go. I'm pretty sure I told that wrong, but anyway, just trust me. Number 4 is now number 1. You wire it up that way, she gonna fire off, because I'm finna prove that to you. All right, let's get caught up right quick. I put on a new bypass hose and a new upper radiator hose. Made sure my petcocks was turned off on both of them. Got my oil filter mounted back and my coil mounted back. Now we're gonna wire that up. Pretty simple. The red lead goes to the positive side. Negative goes over there. I've got mine wired up. I'll show you how I got mine in just a second. Okay, this is the way I've got mine wired. Here's a wire. That one's coming from a switch, so it's hot. This one is coming off my Murphy switch to kill it. This one comes off the S terminal on my starter, because when it's cranking, that has power on it. When you quit trying to crank, that no longer has power on it. So that'll go ahead and crank it. And it's a little redundant on some of them. Some folks don't like it that way, but I'm not sitting there whining and whining and whining to get it to crank. Wrap that tape on there so that thing wouldn't arc out on anything. Might ought to put that back in that hole, or she ain't gonna do nothing, I can promise you. All right, let me tighten that up and we'll crank her up. All right. All right, here we go. Turn the gas on. We'll see what she do. Choking. Murphy switch. no leaks on nothing else. I'll get back with y'all in a minute. All right, next item we're gonna change out that switch. That's my remote switch for my ditch box. That switch came in double, so I thought, well, I'd double it up and make a stronger switch out of it. And it really didn't matter. I had a guy go down and I was up in a basket to change it, and he didn't put it all the way in gear, and next time I tried to strike an arc, it burned it up anyway. But it's very simple on these things. Take your wire coming out of your generator, and it goes around, and it originally went to here. Now it goes on the middle of your switch because that's where you're controlling, either to local or your remote. That's what that switch does. So the wire coming out of your generator is coming off of your rheostat, goes to the middle. Then you take your local wire, go from there back to your rheostat, put it back on, and then this one goes to the ground plug of your outlet, and that's what controls it in your ditch box. Very simple. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out now. Well, all right, sports fans, that's gonna wrap up this week's edition of Red Ray's Welding and Machining. Got the old girl sitting back on the truck, got all the leads hooked up to it, and are tied down pretty tight. Got a little job coming up in July, got to go do a little welding on, but anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode, and remember to hit that like and subscribe. Y'all be careful, stay safe, go to church on Sunday. See you next time.